Have you ever felt like your Apple device was listening to you? Well, if so, you may qualify for settlement money in a class action in which Apple has agreed to pay $95 million to users who say that the company's Siri assistant recorded and shared their conversations without permission. Imagine this. You're chatting with your friend about your New Year's resolution of getting into shape. And you tell your friend, maybe you'll start running more, or maybe you'll pick up kickboxing. Then the next thing you know, your iPhone starts showing you ads for new running shoes and kickboxing classes near you. Coincidence? Maybe. Creepy? Absolutely. But what if I told you that this seemingly innocent coincidence just cost Apple $95 million? And more importantly, what if I told you what you need to know to see if you qualify to get a piece of the settlement? I'm AttorneyAndrea, and I'm going to break down what happened and what Apple did or didn't do and how we got to this massive payout.
Apple has agreed to a $95 million settlement.
Apple has offered to pay $95 million.
Apple has agreed to pay nearly $100 million.
So how did this all even start? Well, back in 2019, The Guardian dropped a bombshell report about Apple's illegal use of Siri. After a whistleblower came forward to the paper and expressed concerns about the company's lack of disclosure that accidental Siri activations are common and often pick up sensitive personal information. Well, these claims were ultimately investigated, and it turns out that Apple wasn't just using Siri recordings to improve the voice assistant. They had actual human beings listening to random Siri interactions. Now, we're not just talking about the, hey Siri, what's the weather interactions. These were recordings of medical appointments, private therapy sessions, and even bedroom conversations.
Damn. I'm sorry.
Think of it like a friend borrowing your phone, but later you discover that they've been reading all of your personal text messages. Understandably, people weren't thrilled. Fast forward to 2024, and we have this massive class action lawsuit accusing Apple of violating privacy rights by accidentally recording conversations and, get this, allegedly sharing that information with none other than advertisers. Now, what does Apple say in response to these claims? Apple, of course, denies everything. Their official statement? We never use Siri data to build marketing profiles or sell information to advertisers. But here's the thing. While Apple claims that Siri's data collection is all about improving the user experience, two plaintiffs say otherwise. They swore under oath that their conversations about sneakers and medical treatments mysteriously led to related ads. Coincidence? Maybe. But enough for a lawsuit? Absolutely. To bring a lawsuit, you have to offer more than just vague accusations. But not necessarily hard evidence either. The complaint simply has to present clear, fact-specific allegations that point to a recognized legal violation, and you have to show that you've been personally harmed in some way. If those allegations plausibly establish the defendant's liability and resulting harm, a court typically finds that you've stated enough to proceed. Now, if they are too vague or they fail to connect the defendant's alleged wrongdoing to your injury or the harm, then the lawsuit can be dismissed typically pretty early on. Here's where it gets legally juicy in this case, and my legal nerd comes out. So Apple is no stranger to privacy claims. They've actually built their brand on a privacy-first policy, unlike, say, Google or Amazon, who practically beg you to give up your data. But here's the catch. Under U.S. law, specifically California's privacy laws, companies aren't supposed to record you without your consent. And if they do, they better have a darn good reason, like improving a service, not just targeting you with ads for the latest Nikes. So when Apple failed to disclose that humans were actually listening to Siri recordings, that's where they messed up. Unfortunately, we'll never truly know what the evidence would have shown in this case, as Apple decided to end the lawsuit early by settling. So what happens now? Apple settled the case for $95 million, which sounds like a lot, but what's your cut? Well, if you owned a Siri-enabled device between September 2014 and December 2024, you're probably eligible for about $20 per device, up to 5 devices. So max payout, $100. Not exactly life-changing, but better than nothing. Now, it's obvious that this case raises bigger questions, like are voice assistants like Siri spying on us? Imagine your life is a reality TV show that you never signed up for. Siri's a sneaky camera person, always rolling, capturing moments you thought were private. But the only difference is you don't get any royalties, just targeted ads. Now, if you're anything like me and you're worried, there are steps you can take to lock Siri down. You have to disable voice activation, stop Siri from listening to your conversations, or even turn Siri off completely. But let's be honest, most of us won't because convenience often trumps paranoia. Still, it's worth asking, if Siri can accidentally record us, what other devices in our lives might be listening to? In the grand scheme of things, this case isn't just about Siri, Apple, or a payout. It's about holding big tech accountable when they mess up. Remember, privacy isn't a privilege, it's a right. And while Apple settled this case to avoid admitting any wrongdoing, the fact that they're paying out $95 million tells us one thing. They know they messed up. But let's not kid ourselves. $95 million is pocket change to a company like Apple. In 2023 alone, they made $93 billion. This settlement barely dents their profits. So the real question is, will they learn from this? So the silver lining here is there are steps you can take to protect your privacy. Check your device settings. Make sure Siri isn't listening unless you want it to. Stay informed. Cases like this are a wake-up call to keep an eye out on how companies use our data. You can also join the class action. If you're eligible, make your claim and get your $20 per device. Still better than nothing. And finally, remember this, your privacy is worth way more than $20. It's up to us to demand transparency and accountability from the tech giants that run our lives. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more legal deep dives down the rabbit hole. And hey, next time you say, "Hey Siri," maybe double check that nobody's listening. Stay safe out there. I'm Attorney Andrea. Thank you very much for watching.